Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. I'm glad to see you. There's a guy who spoke a little bit of English in Georgia, Eastern Europe. He would sing that to me whenever he saw me in the mornings. He worked in a school where I taught English in the little bit of time that I lived there. That just came to my mind now. Welcome back to Babbling Brook, the podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about mainly a day in the life. This was when I was still adapting to life here in the desert. And it's not just the desert part, but it's also the small town vibe coming across people. Everybody was still a complete stranger because I was the new bee in town. And how those interactions went whenever I would come across people. At least I specifically talk about two different instances here. A little bit of misogyny, girl, here and there, and people talking at you. For some reason, there's a sense of importance. You need to hear what I have to say for the next 3 hours. And it's okay. You don't need to say anything back. Like, oh? I had a couple of issues with health adjacent stuff, so we talk about that. And, of course, we talk about weight issues and delve a little longer on that. And one more factor is the loss of a loved one that I'm still reeling from. I think it's probably going to be a lifetime thing, I guess. Not to jinx myself, and ultimately, I want to give you a trigger warning, please, because there is a mention of end of life in this episode as well. The podcast has a Facebook group, Babbling Brook Podcast, and we're also Babbling Brook Podcast on Instagram. And if you'd like to follow me personally, I'm at Babala Brook on all social media. We have a blog, babalabrook.com, and Babala Brook on YouTube. By the way, this show has a podcast that has a Patreon if you'd like to support the show however you can, or once a month, or just one off, it doesn't matter, or not at all, but I thought I'd let you know. We have unedited content there. Please don't tell me I have to edit this. I kind of want to just post this episode already and stuff like that. But yeah, we already have equivalent number of episodes on the Patreon as we do here on the podcast so far. Cheers. Please reach out to us. We'd like to hear back from you. It's very important. So far, here and there, people have reached out, and it really means the world. Please do. And I appreciate everybody who has come along for the ride so far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy! I'm going to try not to clear my throat a lot during this recording. I've just been doing that so much in the last few minutes. The time right now is not 8:08, which is when I did the initial recording. It's 8:17, so I just wasted 9 minutes. I mean, it wasn't a waste. It's 8:17 on a Sunday, and it's May 1st, so May the 1st be with you. I know it's the 4th, whatever. It's May 1st, 2022. It'll be interesting to see when I'm actually going to post this, because so far I've just been recording my thoughts whenever I feel like I either have something to say, which is always, or I feel like I need to talk. Right now, I don't really have anything specific to say, but I do need to talk based off how I have been feeling after doing these recordings on days when I felt shitty. I would feel so much better afterwards. It's like talking to a friend. So thank you for being on the other end and listening and maybe possibly giving me a reason to continue talking and thus feeling better afterwards. So appreciate you in advance because I haven't posted these yet. First of all, it's my first time talking today. My voice sounds deeper than it normally does, and it's throwing me off a bit because I'm realizing that my throat maybe is suffering more than I thought it was. I had a phone conversation with my sister a few days ago. I have a few sisters, and I say my sister a lot, which could be referencing any of my, I have two sisters that I talk to, but I have more than two sisters. And whenever I say my sister, it could be any of them. I had a conversation on the phone with my sister the other day, and it started off because I had sent her a message, and as a result of the message that I sent her, she thought I was going to maybe kill myself. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm laughing because it's like, wow, like it's not absurd because people kill themselves. It's like, I didn't expect that reaction at all. Like, and I was touched by that because, do I want to have this conversation now? No, I don't want to talk about that right now. I was touched by that, and she asked me to call her, so I ended up calling her. We ended up talking about real estate. We did touch on, I cleared out the air, and I told her why I sent the message that I sent. I had been working on things, and it was something to do with finances and beneficiaries, and that's why I sent her, because I made her beneficiary on one of my accounts, and she thought that maybe it's because I'm planning an exit strategy, which is not what I was doing at the time. Oh, from talking, I can feel the gas coming up, the air. It's literally in my chest right now. It's on its way up. Hopefully, I can suppress it. I don't want to do too much editing when it's time to put this up. I already go through a lot of editing with YouTube because I tend to do goofy things when just as in general as a person. And when you're on camera and you're doing goofy shit, you want to edit that out. But now I can do like goofy, like facials and hands and nakedness and whatever I want because I'm not on camera, and therefore that's like, it's safer. Now back to, I didn't kill myself, and that's not what I was planning. And it was touching to hear that my sister doesn't want me to die. You know what I mean? Like, I made you a beneficiary in one of my accounts, so somebody else may want you to die so that they can benefit. So it was a great, right? It's comforting. I have all of my family in my will. And I believe that I'm going to die before probably all of them. And I'm the youngest surviving. The actual youngest one passed away years ago. May his soul rest in eternal peace. I'm kind of in a weird place right now. And hold on one second. I didn't even think that I was going to be emotional. I came here because I feel a little bit shitty, but I was just feeling bummed out. I wasn't feeling like emotional or depressed. No, that's not what it was. I was just bummed out about my weight. I came here to talk about that. Maybe I did have something to talk about. And just like all of a sudden, just, oh, damn. Oh my God. Hold on one second. Maybe I will have to do editing after all. All right. He passed away a long time ago. And he passed away like really like a while back, more than 10 years ago. I don't want to count that right now. I want to just skip through that topic. It's just that, wow. Hold on. This is the bane of my existence, by the way. The loss of my brother. It's the worst thing I've ever experienced. And I've gone through some shitty shit. I've had, people try to kill me, literally, by shooting at me. Sleeping in my car and everything. I've almost been deported, which is one of the worst things I experienced. Just not because I was going to lose America, but because I was in a relationship who was willing to, with somebody who hated me that much, that he wanted me to suffer that much. It wasn't an American green card or whatever thing. It was that. So that was really troubling. Which, I get it now. It's a whole nother conversation. That story is on my blog. I put like stories like that when I'm like, excuse me, like venting and really just going into things that are not like super positive. My YouTube is much more upbeat. I do some like how-to things when I figure out how to do things, or when I'm trying to figure out how to do things, I'll film it. And then usually it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. And that includes just a couple of recipes. I'm trying to figure out how to... I'm not somebody who is good at following a recipe book. So I will look at if I'm craving something or I've seen something, and I'll try and figure it out, and then I will post sometimes myself in the process of making it. And if it comes out great, if it doesn't come out good, I still post it. So it's more like silly. It's another side of my personality. And then the more like maybe, I don't know if it's like serious, but I guess the opposite of that is more on my blog. And on here, so far I've just been talking about whatever comes to my mind. So it's all aspects of myself. And then of course on social media, I'm not somebody who puts on full makeup with the ring light and before I take photos, and then I'm someone who takes 100 photos and delete 37 of them and then posts one and all that. When I post, I'm almost always not ready to be on camera when I'm on camera, because I don't plan. I just feel like life is so hard emotionally to juggle feelings and real life and finances and social aspect and picking a partner, being away from your family, trying to lose weight, and all these things. So we're going through all of that. Personally, being camera ready in order to post on Instagram so that 30 people can click on their phone and like a photo, it's not even in the list of my priorities. It literally is not. For me. It's nice that people get paid and they can make careers out of this. And maybe if it was a career for me, it would be a nice career to have, because I am somebody who likes to share. I am somebody who not necessarily likes to share aspects of my life with people necessarily, even though I have so many platforms that I do share my life on. I'm somebody who likes to journal. I feel like I said that, journal. Weird. I am someone who likes to journal, and for that reason, these platforms come in handy because it's it tickles my journaling fancy. At least they do, not it. Oh, do I have to get up now to get tissue? Why don't I have a tissue box next to here? Oh, there's tissue. Yeah, I should put a tissue box here. I'm sitting on the recliner again. It's become my studio of late. And there's a table right next to it with like a book, because I was like, maybe when I'm sitting here, I can read a page minimum of this book. The book title is, but so far I haven't started. I have started reading the book, but I haven't read since I've moved here 2 months ago. At some point, it's not going to be 2 months ago anymore. The book is Seat of the Soul. SEAT. Seat of the Soul, a remarkable treatment of thought, evolution, and reincarnation. What? That's the review by Library Journal. Reincarnation. A remarkable treatment of thought. What do you mean treat? Oh, how you treat? Anyway, it's by Gary Zukav, if I'm saying that right. People seem to know him. I think Oprah has interviewed, but him, but Oprah has interviewed everybody. Sorry for the sound of the tissue. Yeah, so that is the bane of my existence. And I thought, when he passed away, I thought I was going to die from physical pain. From emotional pain. It hurt so much, I didn't think I was going to be able to survive it. All right, let me not talk about it, because I can feel my face getting hot again. So, yeah. Wow, I didn't expect this. I'm getting that rush again. It's just weird. All right. So this morning, apologize one second. I put tea next to me because of the clearing of my throat so much. I talked to my sister a few days ago. And we were on the phone for definitely for more than 2 hours. I remember it being around 9, and then I remember it being midnight. So it definitely was more than 2 hours that we talked on the phone. And I am not used to talking because I don't interact in person with anybody on average on a regular day. Therefore, when I do talk, like if I'm doing these recordings and they end up being 30 minutes long, that'll be the longest I've talked that day at a time. Apart from random times when I'm thinking so loud. I don't know if I said that out loud or it was in my mind, or I said it out loud, just like, to myself. So whenever I have these conversations with my sisters, all my conversations with my family are long. We're long-winded. I'm extra long-winded, but everyone's long-winded in my family. I think we get it from our mom. When I do talk to my mom, I would talk to her even probably the longest. Like one time we talked for like 8 hours. It was probably the best conversation I ever had with my mom. Not because it took that long, but the stuff that we talked about. It made me understand her better. Where was I? Is that Nebraska? No, that's not Nebraska. Was that Nebraska? That's not. I need to find out where that was. Maybe it was Oregon. It was one of these areas that get cold. I need to find out where that was actually, just for my own reference. But I know it was a Walmart delivery that I had to do. And they don't care at Walmart if you're early by a day or whatever. You have to stick to a schedule. It's Walmart. It's a big company and they're very organized. Not that big companies are organized by definition, like just saying. But I was parked there and I had all that time. And I called her. and we talked about everything. I mean, it cost me a decent amount of money. But yeah, it was over a while. It just carried me over for over a while. Like I would, whenever I went to, because I'm someone who will go back to the conversation, and then some things will start like really registering, and I think, wow, because I realized in that conversation, I know I'm a lot like her, that's how you say it, but I realized then that she's a lot like me. And over weeks afterwards, whenever I would think about that, I'd be like, wow. And I'd think about something else we talked about. I mean, can you imagine how long a conversation is in 30 minutes? We're talking about 30 minutes is. So after talking to my family, my throat will hurt from talking too much because my voice cords will be strained. I'm not used to that anymore, which is probably why like performers in the line of acting, poetry, just like spoken word, and singers do voice exercises. Maybe that's why. I feel like maybe I should do voice exercises before talking to someone on the phone. I don't think it'll help though. I remember when I was on the road tracking, the onset of me not talking to people, I thought to myself, maybe I should just do like voice exercises. At least that way, at least I've used my voice. Because I was like, am I going to like lose my voice ultimately if I continue not talking to people? Because I don't want to get into that. There's a dark story about South African history and apartheid and what someone went through, ended up losing their voice from being isolated. I guess I just told you that story. Now, yeah, I would think to myself, maybe I should. And then I even thought, because I listen to like podcasts and I listen to crime documentaries. Like if I'm driving a truck, I would play a documentary in the background, like on the thing, and play it on the truck speakers, and then just listen to the story being told. Because I'm driving, obviously I'm not watching. But it was a lot of listening, not that much talking. Which totally is not my personality. Just kidding. And I would think to myself, I love music, right? So I would think to myself, maybe if I played music, because I always sing along to music, and I know just about the lyrics to all the songs that I love, like I am that annoying person. So I'd be like, maybe I should like incorporate a certain amount of time in my day where I definitely listen to music. And also, it brings up your mood, music. And I'm not somebody, I cannot listen to songs that I don't like or I don't know. Well, you know what I mean? I like a song I don't know because maybe I'll like it or maybe I won't. But I'm not somebody who will sit there and just play, like shuffle or listen to the radio. Because listening to the radio, I've listened to this guy talk. I'm not interested in what you have to say. If I'm listening to radio for music, I'm not interested in what you have to say. I don't want to hear the commercials. And you're going to play songs. There's a chance that you're going to do the whole show and play 0 songs that I like. So why am I doing this? So I'm not somebody who listens to the radio at all. There's a radio here in my bedroom with a clock radio. Is that what it's called? Radio clock? Clock radio. Or whatever. Alarm, whatever. I've never even tried to like listen to the radio and hear what's going on. So after that conversation with my sister, I noticed that my throat like hurt a little bit. And then a few days, and I've just been listening to music and singing along and whatever. So I don't think I gave my throat a break. Then yesterday, I left around 11 in the morning to do 2 errands. Ended up doing, well, more than that. But my point is, one of the errands, I ended up bumping into a guy after like I had been there for more than 30 minutes, bumped into this guy and we had a conversation. I'm calling it a conversation. I say we talked to each other, but it was more him talking to me or at me. I didn't get a word in edgewise. I don't think he believes that. I don't think that he considers women in the same level as men. And I don't think that. One of the things he said was, okay, so Brooke, are you married? Kids? And then he was like, he had this checklist. So I said, and he was looking at his phone. So I said, what are we doing? I know what he's doing. He's getting ready to take my phone number. But he wants to know this. I know what he's doing. Okay. So I said, what are we doing? And he said, I'm going to take your phone number, but I want to know if there's somebody who's going to be upset if I say, let's meet in such and such a place. I said to him, well, I decide if I want to meet or not. It's not about somebody else being upset. So you could just ask me right now in front of you, if I'm available to meet or if I'm willing to meet, and I'll tell you no, because I don't meet with people, number one. And number two, I don't give out my phone number. So that's easy, right? What are you talking about? We just had a conversation about investing in real estate and whatever. And you think that I, as somebody who has not just the wherewithal, but also who's talking about making these decisions, would need somebody else's permission to go and meet you. What? Like, you're not respecting me as a person and a grown-up and an individual who came here by myself to the place where we bumped into each other at. You don't respect me enough that I can make a decision. Oh, sure, I'm going to come and meet you. You think that you would need someone else's permission? You think that you want to know if I have kids because what? Because the kids may be upset and therefore you wouldn't want to meet with me even if I was willing to meet what are you talking about? And also, you just told me you are happily married to your third wife, but okay, I'm not interested. It's not my whatever. Third time is a charm, I guess, even though your wife lives 3 hours away from here. But what are you talking about? Like, okay, you can come and knock on my door anytime. Here's my address, because I wasn't going to meet him. That's interesting, actually. If I said I'm not going to meet you and you're telling me I can come to your house, to what? To not meet you? So that conversation, he actually helped me out with a lot of information. And that's why I continued talking. Otherwise, I would have walked away. Are you kidding me? But the conversation was, we're talking about like investing and whatever. He seems very intelligent. Like, just in general, he knows a lot. We talked about like Elon Musk. I hope I'm saying it right. And just random things. Apparently he used to be an engineer before he retired. His fly was down the whole time. I'm someone who always tells people, hey, your zipper's down. Like, I'm that person. Because rather me, who's always by myself, just one individual telling you that, and then you take care of it, and then you have to worry about that one person, versus being seen by so many people and then realizing when you get home, oh crap, and now you have a bigger problem. But I didn't tell this guy, because first you couldn't even see inside. Maybe there was nothing in there to see. Just kidding. You couldn't see inside, and I think that was the least of his concerns, or maybe he did that on purpose. I don't know. Shoot. So after that conversation with my throat that was not fully recovered, I was like, I need to use the restroom. So I went to the library, which was down the street. And I ended up having a conversation, probably talking the librarian or that lady, I don't know what her job is, probably talking her ear off. But we had a talk also about property, because she recently bought a house. She thinks she bought it this year, but she realized that August was not this year. We haven't had an August yet this year. So that was funny. But we talked about just like a lot of things. So that conversation was probably an hour at least, it was a nice conversation. I've had a couple of conversations with her before. We have a couple of things in common. Then I went to my last, well, I did other things in between, and then I went to my last errand to check out this yard sale. She had it in the yard, and she also had it indoors. She advertises it as an indoor sale or whatever, indoor yard sale, I don't know, but indoor something. So I went, and she saw me when I pulled up, and she said, do you want to, why is it called pulling up? Why are we using up? Anyway, and she was like, I have more stuff inside. I said, can I check the stuff that's inside first? Because the heat was insane. And, you know, it was like the middle of the day, so the sun's right on top of you. I went inside and never even really checked the stuff that was outside. When I got in there, I must have been there at least an hour. And we were just talking, mainly her. She told me, I know probably everything about her now. From her parents, the marriage, they divorced, they are partners, how they died, how long she was bitten, this lady was bitten by a spider in her butt, and then a spider in this area, and then an accident, and a lot of negative stuff. Like, she didn't really tell me anything positive that's happened in her life. And then this, and then the job, and she worked 12 years here. Like, she told me everything about herself. That lady doesn't know anything about me. I can tell you that right now. And that's exactly how I like it. Also, it didn't bother me to sit there and listen to her story. It's funny because we didn't even sit down. It didn't bother me. But towards the end, when I tried to walk away, I realized, oh, she's not ready. But I still left because I don't live there. I didn't buy anything at the thrift store. She's expensive. She has more stuff than a thrift store. But she's like, I'm not paying $10 for a pair of shoes in a thrift store in an indoor yard sale. You pay that at TJ Maxx for brand new shoes that have a slight D-list designer like Steve Madden or whoever. I'm not paying it in a house in the middle of the desert. Well, actually, probably should pay it here because of demand and whatever. But I don't need shoes. Like, I don't need anything like that. I need house stuff. But I'm doing fine. I have everything I need, even in the house. But that's the stuff that I would put money in. I say all this to say I left the house around 11, came back around 4, and there was a lot of talking involved. I don't think that helped my throat. And now I'm at home. When I went to sleep, I need to wrap this up. When I went to sleep, I had just eaten. I hadn't eaten the whole time that I was out. It's not like there's a restaurant. Well, there's a couple of restaurants, I guess. Definitely there's one, and then there's like gas stations. But I'm not somebody who eats out. I'm too frugal. I didn't eat out. I ate just before I left, and then I ate when I came back. But like for all the hours that I was gone. It wasn't just one meal. I just ate nonstop, and a bunch of popcorn. Popcorn's not a good idea for me. Even when I was buying it, I knew that. It's my second time buying it in forever. But definitely in 2 weeks, in a month. So I bought it. And so I made popcorn last night as well, twice, 2 bowls. And then I ate, and then I went to sleep. And I slept good. I woke up this morning to a dream where one of my brothers, I have a lot of brothers and a lot of sisters. One of my brothers asked me in my dream, he said, wow, you eat a lot. I said, I know. And then he said something else about weight, and then I cried. It didn't make sense why I was crying, like the way I was reacting, but I cried. Maybe that's why I ended up crying in a podcast. Sometimes I can foresee things that are going to happen, like super random shit in my dreams. And so I woke up to that dream, and I was like, Then I started like looking at my photos. How much bigger am I really than this time last year? I feel like I'm bigger than I was in the beginning of this. No, it's May now, so this is the beginning of a month. It's like when I moved here, I felt like I was the heaviest I had been in a while. But now I'm heavier than I was then. And I've been eating better than I was, I may have said this before, a few months ago. And like, I've been monitoring my, during PMS I eat more. But on average, I've been eating decently now and all that stuff. And then I walk every once in a while more than, stuff like that. So I'm like, I should be at least, maintaining. Why am I gaining? It bugs me. Like it's a real problem. So I woke up and I did the usual, got on the scale, and between today and yesterday, I'm up by a pound. Yesterday, I was up by almost a pound from the day before. And the day before that, I was down by the same amount that I gained the following day. So basically, in a week, overall, I'm up by like half a pound, because I lost some when blah, blah, blah. And I do blame the popcorn that I overloaded on, because I literally woke up bloated. Normally in the morning, you will have burped and farted and excreted all the gases and the whatever, and you wake up with a flat stomach. That's not what happened this morning. So starting a day off like that can make you feel like shit, pardon the pun. And yeah, so I went to the kitchen and started drinking, the regular morning routine, made a big pot of tea and started drinking black tea. Like, I drank a gallon of fluids already this morning. And just the bloatedness. So I took something, the gas enzyme Bino type thing. I took that. And just feeling like discouraged, like, why am I working so hard but it's not showing on the scale? That's why you shouldn't weigh every day. You should weigh at least once a week. But if you pick a day, like today, to weigh, after you have eaten, after you had a good week, and then you just like have a day like yesterday where you eat a bunch of popcorn, whatever, and then you retain water from the salt from the popcorn and from the digestiveness and the flakiness of the popcornness, and now you're heavy, and that's the day that you pick, you're fucked, my friend. I feel like I say the word weigh. I pronounce it differently. I once did a radio show in South Africa about weight loss. It's a long time ago. I was the slimmer of the year. I know. I was the slimmer of the year in Johannesburg, in South Africa. It's a long story. And we said weight or whatever. We made a mistake, and she was mirroring me, the radio host, one of the best in the country, actually, by the way. It was like an amazing opportunity for me to be there. Bertha Charuma, I think she was Zimbabwean, Radio Metro, or Metro FM. Yeah, if you're from South Africa, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're older. And yeah, and then I think somebody said it to her ear, the producer was like, you guys are saying this word wrong, and you're on it was a live radio show. But yeah, it was great time. I lost all the weight that I needed to lose and then some. So I was almost under my goal weight, and it was a good time. TV appearances, radio, magazines, covers, articles. It was an interesting time, basically doing press. And now I'm here sitting on my couch with a rope on me as a blanket, yapping about eating popcorn and not losing weight. So much for being the slimmer of the year. But I've lost more than 130 something pounds. And actually, I lost almost double what I had lost at the time that I was slimmer of the year, which shows you how much I gained since then. Right? Okay, I'm going to wrap it up quickly. Now, I did the drinking and the whatever, and the more I was drinking, normally it shocks the system, that hot fluids, and then you go, if you know what I mean. But this time it was just like I didn't even know if my system is realizing I just drank a gallon of fluids. That's why I ended up at a gallon point. When I was emptying because I filled the water into a gallon jug. So when I was emptying it, I was like, whoa, I just finished the whole gallon. Didn't even realize I was just drinking. Because I just do. And then the stomach goes, and then like flushes everything out. That's not what happened. And I was like, whoa. And when that doesn't happen, now you're overhydrated because you retain all that water in your system. And then you start getting a headache, which is interesting. Sometimes when you wake up, you might get a headache, or you might wake up with a headache. Before you take, let me take a pain pill, before you do that, replenish your fluids. It might be from dehydration, from overnightness. So drink your fluids first, give yourself about 20 minutes to see what happens. Usually within the first 10, you will feel better already. You'll forget about the headache. Obviously, that means that it's gone. Then the opposite also, if you drink too much fluids, they will do something to the sodium levels, and I don't know what else. I'm not a doctor. But as you may have noticed by now, like I do pay attention and study the things that affect me and try to understand how my body works just as well, because my health insurance is nearest doctor to me is like more than an hour away. So I might as well be my own doctor. Thank you, Google. So then you can get a headache from that. Usually, personally, I feel the overhydration headache more like in the back of my head, but not by my neck, just like the top, by the actual head, basically in the brain. What the fuck? I think that's where the brain is. That's where I feel it. Maybe that's where I retain fluids. Ha ha ha. And maybe that's where like my salt is. Just kidding. So I started getting that headache, and I was like, this is a sign that the fluids are not out. Obviously, I know they're not out. I didn't go to the toilet. I was like, gosh darn it. I don't want to take like laxatives and try to force myself to go and whatever. That doesn't go well for me. It's not. I try not to take things and just fix my diet, keep adjusting my diet up to a point where my body is working right. You have to study your body and see what works and what doesn't work. Because sometimes your body it's like communicating with you by you having that headache, having that whatever ache, that bloatedness or whatever. If you keep adjusting, and if journaling helps, if you keep adjusting, you can find something. And as they say, you heal your own self. And then all of a sudden, you don't have to worry about diet as in what you eat, nutrition. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You can focus your energy in other things like work, play, life. Because you've taken care of one of the most important things, because, the mind and the stomach are pretty much connected. So, yeah. I was like, ugh. And guess what I had for breakfast? Because now I'm kind of like bummed out. I'm sad. I'm pissed with life and my body. And I understand it. I know how it works. But I also have basically like some kind of an eating disorder type mentality. You know what I mean? I'm obsessed with it. It's some kind of a disorder for real. So, and the fact that I weigh, whatever, I don't want to talk about that right now. So my solution to that went to food. So I made popcorn for breakfast. Like, are you kidding me? I made freaking popcorn for breakfast. I count every calorie. It's another anal thing that I do. Counting my calories, and I did popcorn. I said that I took one Beano with my first bite. Because if you don't know what Beano is or does, allegedly, you have it just before your meals or with one of the first bites of something that would normally bloat you. to help. It helps digest whatever it is, and it not necessarily helps digest. I think it's a digestive enzyme. Yeah, apparently it does. And also, it takes care of the gas that would be formed as a result of that, which normally causes gas in your stomach. Think beans. Oh, well, it's called beano, so there you go. And milk, if you have a lactose intolerance. And things like broccoli, cabbage, stuff like that. There's a cabbage that I've had for probably 3 months now in my fridge. I wonder if I should just throw it away because, come on now. So I had dinner with my popcorn. And then afterwards, because when I'm bloated, I've mentioned this in my PMS series of podcasts, when I am bloated, I tend to want to keep eating because I think my system thinks that if I eat enough and I get full, then the body is going to want to excrete. Wow, we're using that word again. My body's going to want to excrete. And then once everything's out, of course I'm going to feel better, right? Sorry for this silence because I was finishing a thought in my head, but I'm not going to say it. So I made microwave bread with corn flour and bread flour. I apologize. I guess I'm boring myself half to death. And I enjoyed it. Put a little butter on it. And I have anchovies in oil. So I put some of that anchovy oil in there. I do tend to eat a lot of oil when I'm either or constipated or bloated. I tend to eat a lot of oil because I think maybe psychologically I'm thinking that the oil is going to, lube it up and make it, because at the end of the day, it's all about shitting. And also, I noticed that my body will tell me, like, if I'm bloated or I'm whatever, I'm going to crave certain things, and those are the things that are going to make, certain movements, etc., etc., etc. If you really pay attention, which some people are too busy for that because you're busy with life, and kids and whatever. I don't have all of that, so a lot of my attention goes to me, just about all of it. And I don't have friends, so I'm also my best friend, and it's crucial that my mental state is up to par in order for me to be able to survive every day and to enjoy my days. You don't want to just be an autopilot. And you want to have, you want to have nice days. You want to have fun. Like I post goofy videos of singing and dancing and doing whatever. Those are the things that I do more of that than I post because that's just my personality, and it helps me to have that kind of personality to survive the lifestyle that I chose for myself, because I could have friends. The ladies who live next door are actually friendly and they're nice, and I'm lucky to have them. But I don't go there and hang out or have them here or whatever. I don't. Like, they will not see me. They will see me once in a while. Maybe if I'm going outside to, like, water my garden. Yeah, I have a garden. Those are some of the therapeutic things that you do, right? Yeah, maybe I'll do, like, other podcasts about, like, mental state and whatever. I feel like that's the direction, the ultimate umbrella theme in this podcast. Yeah, we talked about PMS and we talked about random stuff, but really a lot of it boils down to feeling good. Just like having good feelings and vibrations ultimately. Thank you for listening. I did ramble a little bit, maybe a lot in the beginning, but I hope that you gained something from this, other than just getting to know me, which is not my point, because why would you want to get to know me? For what? So that you can benefit what in your life? But I hope that it's helping you get to know you better and the people that you care who are in your life, and help you understand them, maybe yourself more so, and thus just ultimately everyone being happy and being easier to be around and to live with. That's not what I wanted to say. easier to live, to be, and to live with. Okay, let's unrecline. What's the opposite of recline? Cline? Get out of here. I'm going to go ahead and go to the kitchen, start cleaning and whatever. For the 7 minutes. Okay, the countdown is on. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds. Goodbye. Find me on all social media at Baba Laprook. And I'm new to TikTok. Hopefully I'll still be new when you hear this, which means hopefully I'll start putting up my podcasts. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. And can you give me 5 stars for this podcast? Maybe not this episode, but maybe this episode, but overall for my podcast, I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much.